people don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept that anything Indian can be good, in spite of our honorable PM saying that, make in India, giving so much of thrust, so much of, special attention to it. We don't have. The test that we have developed at Swayam is one of the first in the world to do that. But I'll come to that later.
Welcome to yet another episode of Beyond HerStory. And today we are honored to have Dr. Shilpa Datar with us. Dr. Shilpa is a distinguished psychologist with a wealth of experience in Indian psychology, philosophy, and Advaita philosophy. Now, with a Ph.D. in psychology and a passion for innovation, Dr. Shilpa has made significant contributions to the field. She is the founder-director of Swayam Analytics Private Limited, a company pioneering psychometric assessments for hiring. Her groundbreaking work involves developing psychometric tests to understand the personality of individuals. Now, her tests, which are employed worldwide, have had a significant impact in the field. Dr. Shilpa's journey reflects a deep commitment to merging ancient philosophies with modern psychology, and she has received numerous awards, including the Innovative Entrepreneur of the Year and Award of Excellence for Women in Education. So, are you curious about the fascinating world of psychology and the profound insights it offers into human behavior? Then, if so, you're in for a treat. So, join us as we dive right in and learn more from the distinguished Dr. Shilpa Datar. Welcome, Dr. Shilpa, to Beyond HerStory.
Thank you so much, Neha. I'm so thrilled and honored to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. It's our honor too, Dr. Shilpa.
Oh, please. Thank you so much. Without people like you, how would the, knowledge spread?
Yeah. I mean, it's of course knowledge for people who watch, and also, I get a lot of takeaways from every podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. You must be, really enjoying talking to so many different kinds of people and from so many different walks of life.
Yeah. It is actually. I always look forward to like who's the next Wonder Woman I'll be speaking to.
Ah, nice.
And there are plenty of them, believe me.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
sure you would agree too. Yeah.
Yeah. We are a completely underrepresented lot, women only.
Yeah.
It's only now that, we're able to break free of the shackles, and then, step out and say, this is what I'm doing. I'm passionate about this and I want to do this. Until even 25 years ago, we were so restricted.
Yeah, I agree. So I think let's start with the most interesting conversation we are going to have, I'm sure.
Thank you.
First question is, what is it that inspired you to get into the field of Indian psychology and philosophy alongside traditional psychology?
Okay. So in 97, 98, my son, I have two children, a son and a daughter. My son was identified as being dyslexic.
Okay.
So, and the school wanted us to move him to a special needs school, and I completely refused. I said, nothing doing, he's going to study in mainstream only, because I'm sure, the minute you go into any child goes into a special needs school, they don't have access to good education or a career. And I didn't want that to happen to my child. So he continued in the same school, and I started working in a special needs school myself to understand what this is all about. Okay. And there, I already had a knowledge of psychology because my BA was in psychology, English literature, and journalism. So, and I've always been very interested in psychology. And then when I started working there, I realized that the tests that they were doing, the assessment tests to, classify children as being learning disabled, autistic, so many other things, dysgraphic, dyslexic, so on and so forth, were all foreign tests. Okay. None of them were made for Indians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
though Indians were using it, is it? Indians were using the same tests.
Yeah. So there was absolutely nothing that was indigenously made by Indians for Indians. Anta, there was nothing like that. And as administrators, because if you look at the English language, the language that is used in the US versus the language that is used in Europe or even in UK. And what we use
Yeah.
colloquially in India is very different. The
Correct.
connotations are different, the interpretations are different. The way we use it is very, very unique to Indians also. So
Correct.
when that is the case, some of there were very poor adaptations, and they were using these adaptations. So these poor adaptations, I as an adult couldn't understand what they were asking. Okay,
Okay.
so let alone a 9, 10-year-old child. And then you administer these things to a child. Obviously, they don't know what they're talking. They're going to do poorly, and then you're going to put them into special needs school, and then you're going to
Correct.
put a patti on their head and say, "This is wrong,
Yeah.
that is wrong, this is that," and then they don't have a
Correct.
future. And I said that this was completely discriminatory and totally unfair. So I was very
Yeah.
unhappy. So I did a little bit of groundwork and a research on that, and I realized that both in academia as well as in corporate settings, whatever assessments are being used are all foreign based. None of them were Indian. And
Okay.
unfortunately, the same situation stays today also in 2023.
Oh,
And how
okay.
unfortunate
There's
is
no
that?
change.
There's no
Yeah,
change because
seriously.
people
Yeah.
don't want to accept that. They don't
Is
want to accept that anything Indian can be good, in spite of our honorable PM saying that, make in India, giving so much of thrust, so much of, special attention to it. We don't have.
yeah.
The test that we have developed at Swayam is one of the first in the world to do that. But I'll come to that
Wow.
later. So because I found this I was so unhappy with this situation. I said, I am going to do something so that I can understand, I'm going to develop a test that will help me understand children at a younger age so that we can give them the necessary support and the necessary infrastructure that they need to overcome those, problems that they might be
Correct.
facing. And that's how my journey started. And
Okay.
then also, by then I was very disillusioned with Western psychology, because predominantly American psychology is forced down the throats of the entire world, saying that this is the best psychology in the world. And I have
Okay.
strong objection to that, because if you look at Jung and Freud, they studied people who came into their clinical settings, who had mental health issues, who had problems. Okay, they
Okay.
studied, and then they said these are clinical people. So these are people with issues. So what could normal, I use the word normal very,
Ye-
judiciously. So what could
Yeah.
normal people be like? Okay, so if they don't have this, then they are normal.
Oh, okay.
I take very strong objection to that, because absence of disease does not make us normal. We are normal by itself. Disease is the abnormal state, whether of the body
Yeah.
or the mind. Correct?
Correct.
So a
Yeah.
majority of us, about 90-95% of us, are functioning adults. We are absolutely normal. We have our idiosyncrasies, we have our irritating traits, but that's what makes us unique. Correct?
Correct.
So, and I took very strong, I still take very strong objection to that. And the other thing is that they don't understand people very holistically. By that, I
Okay.
mean they only study the mental aspect of the individual, the psychological aspect, the physiological, the physical, or the spiritual aspect is completely untouched, because they feel that you don't need all that. But
Okay.
uh, you know, uh, even if you look at it from from a common sense perspective, can you do anything if you are physically unwell?
No. It's
No.
very difficult. It affects.
Exactly. So your physical affects your mind. Same
Yeah.
way, if you are mentally very upset, it's going to show it on your physical being also. That's the whole, issue of having high BP or sugar or anything. It's all because of stress, or it could be something. Psychosomatic diseases are all,
Correct.
psychosomatic. So it's very clear
Yeah.
there. So as a layman, as a general public, with common sense, you can make out that that is not a proper way of understanding people.
Correct.
But that
Yeah.
is what the foreign, psychology is all about.
But
And
just
yeah,
one
please go on.
question here.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So is it that the awareness itself is not there, or people don't want to, see if there's a problem with what has been coming to them from so many years and want to challenge it?
You're talking about Western psychology, or you're talking about Indian?
No, I mean Indians have adapted the Western psychology itself, right?
Yeah, correct,
So
correct.
is it that people are not aware that it doesn't suit the Indian people, or is it that it's
No,
just that
see, in
people follow
India,
it?
yeah, no, in India, we see the foreign Western psychology is very well packaged. Whatever you may say, their packaging, their marketing is excellent. Like, take for instance, pranayama. They've taken it to the West, they have converted it to mindfulness, and then they've repackaged it, and then they're selling it across the world.
Correct.
Correct, and they're
Correct.
making billions and trillions out of it. But
Correct.
and For instance, my daughter didn't believe me. You know, when I said this to her, she said, "You are one anti-foreign kind of a person. I don't believe you." She went abroad for her studies. She went to Europe, and then there
Okay.
they were, asked to take a class on mindfulness. They said it's
Okay.
part of the course structure. All students are made to take that. At that point of time, they
Okay.
were made to. Yeah. So then she went to the class. She had to take it. She didn't have a choice. She went to the class, and then there the teacher, obviously the instructor, they mentioned that it is based on the Indian system of yoga and pranayama and all that.
Uh,
And then she came back and she called me and then she told me this is. I said, I'm going to boot you now. It's
yeah.
all completely. And then if you look at so many, I mean, I can give you hundreds of examples, but
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
it all is. It is all. And then the other thing that has happened is that in India, the psychology that is taught in colleges is all Western psychology. They've
Okay.
sold our Indian population, and the same thing is happening across the world. I'm not saying it's only in India, saying that
Yeah.
this is the psychology. We have done research. Go take any textbook in an undergraduate degree course, psychology textbook, and see. They're all foreign textbooks with foreign researchers. With They may not even be applicable in India, but still we are
Okay.
studying them. Any
Yeah.
research conducted in US gets reported, gets into the textbooks, and then that we buy the same textbooks and we use it as gospel truth. So
Yeah.
that's the issue. And I took strong objection to this. And then, I said, what is it that I can do at a very atomic level, at a very elemental level? Because it had to be, applicable to people across the world. The test that I wanted to
Correct.
develop had to be applicable to people across the world. Because it doesn't make
Right.
sense just because I live in Bangalore that it's applicable to people in Bangalore, in Karnataka, in South India, and so on. So, and then I was, struggling with this and all that. And then suddenly I realized that, the Indian medical tradition, Ayurveda and yoga, are living traditions. They have been in
Yeah.
existence for 5, 10,000 years and more, if I
Yeah.
may say so. And there could be something about. Initially, I wanted to do my PhD in LD, but that was LD is learning disabilities. So, but that was not to be, and I started looking at how I can develop a test to assess people at a younger age, children at a younger age, to give them the
Okay.
necessary support. So that's when I came across the Panchamahabhuta theory. Okay, and the different
Can you say
combination,
that again? It's what is it?
the
Pancha?
Pancha Mahabhutas, Pancha, five,
Five.
Mahabhutas. Yeah. So Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Up, and Prithvi.
The five
So
elements. Yeah.
Akasha, five elements, absolutely. So Akasha is ether, Vayu is air, Agni is fire, Up is
Fire.
water, and Prithvi is earth. So these five primordial elements, they combine with each other at the physical, physiological level to form the Tridoshas of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, which is what entire
Yeah.
Ayurveda is based upon.
Correct.
The
Yeah.
same Panchamahabhutas combine with each other at the psychological level to form the Trigunas
Okay.
of Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Again, Ayurveda is also based on that. And this is first initiated in the Vedas. They talk about it in Shvetashvatara Upanishad. It's spoken of. Bhagavad Gita is entirely about that. When Sri Krishna talks to Arjuna and tells him what is the kind of person who would behave, what how would a person with a sattvic manobhava,
Correct.
how would he
Yeah.
behave? Rajasic manobhava, tamasic manobhava, and all
Yeah.
that.
Tamsik. Yeah.
So it's
Correct.
completely there in our philosophical texts. So don't look at it as religion. Don't look at it as philosophy. Even if you look at it as just pure science, I look at
Yeah.
it as pure science. So even then it
Correct.
is there in the Puranas. Sankhya philosophy is totally atheistic. It doesn't believe in the existence of a god. And Ayurveda and yoga are completely based on Sankhya philosophy. So from there, so I started looking in that area, and it was magical. I used to dream about it in the night, and then in the morning somebody used to send me books, somebody used to send me articles. It was just wonderful. And by then I had finished my master's in psychology, And then I registered
Okay.
for my PhD from University of Mysore, that is Regional Institute of Education in Mysore, which is NCRT. And then I did
Okay.
my PhD in this area. So I developed these tests to assess people. Unfortunately, we haven't done it for special needs children yet, but we have
Okay.
standardized it for adults and for children. So
Okay.
standardized the test, developed the test. It underwent 47 revisions each. So it was a very, very rigorous work. And there are 70 paper publications, another 4 or 5 in the pipeline. And because of the stringent methodology that were used, it's being used for research in multiple countries, in India, US,
Yeah.
Germany. They're all using our tests for research.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I was
Amazing.
able
Yeah.
to, my first mandate that it has to be applicable to people across the world, fully satisfied. That
Correct.
I should be able to use it on children, I was able to do that. And now
Yeah.
we're working on it commercially and trying to take it out to the public to make them aware of the wealth of wisdom that is there and also the relevance of it rather than a foreign test in India for Indians.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent thought actually. And the the thought that you're going to take it globally, it makes so much of a difference, like if you haven't
Yeah,
limited just to India, you want to ensure that it is accepted and it is valid globally also. I think
correct.
that's really an awesome thought, Dr. Shilpa.
Thank you. Thank you, Sneha. I hope this answers your first question.
Yes, it does. It does. So, Swayam Analytics, right? That is the
Yeah,
one which focuses on this. That's your organization
correct.
where you're the founder. So,
Correct.
this is focused mainly on developing psychometric tests to understand and help individuals to identify their personality.
So this
So,
is already
is it
developed.
that or is it much more than that?
Oh, it's much more than that. So I've already developed the test. It's been published, standardized. It's accepted worldwide now, both in academia and
Okay.
corporates. We have also accredited it by another institution.
Okay.
They accreditate the tests. So I've also got that done because corporates don't accept. I don't know why they don't accept a PhD degree, but they will accept. Quite
Yeah. They want a
counterintuitive.
certificate.
Yeah, so I've got that done as well. And we have built our own assessment platform. The paper pencil tests
Okay.
were converted to a algorithm based software, and that's
Okay.
online on our website. I have 1 patent, 8 copyrights, and 3 trademarks that we have applied for. 2 have
Wow.
already been granted. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Tremendous amount
Awesome.
of work anyway. So all that is done. And through this, we are working with students. We work with 8th and 9th grade students to identify their
Okay.
behavioral challenges. And then we tell them what is it that they can do to overcome them. We give them asanas and pranayamas that they should do, what they shouldn't do also. Because
Oh,
Patanjali Yoga Sutras, yeah, Patanjali very
mm,
clearly states that if you have this kind of a, dosha guna combination, then you're not supposed to do certain things because it's detrimental to your health.
okay.
Yeah. So those we tell them, and then we give them Ayurvedic diet and nutrition because there was a survey conducted by NCRT. I'm not sure if you are aware. It was a reported survey
Mm,
about I think last year or year before that, where they run these hotlines through the year,
okay.
for students to call in and ask their queries, get some
Ah,
doubts
okay.
clarified,
Yeah,
talk about their issues and stuff like that. And they found that a
correct.
whopping 74% of students who called in were all worried about the kind of food they should eat.
Oh, that's really
Yeah,
surprising. Yeah,
really. So, and
yeah,
that was an eye opener for me. I said, if students are so interested in being healthy, then we should
yeah.
do something to help them do that. Because they're not aware.
Absolutely.
Not everybody
Yeah,
has access to a good nutritionist or a good doctor. And these are children from tier 2, tier 3 cities, villages, wherever in India. India is a huge country. The tier 1 cities are a minority. So
yeah,
we incorporate
correct.
that aspect also. And then we give them curated resources, online resources that they can use to help them overcome their behavioral challenges. And
Okay.
then we 10th, 11th, 12th, we work with students with, we work with students to give them career guidance. We identify their personality because parents want them to, just do engineering and medical. That's all parents
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
because it's their own dreams that they are pushing onto their children. The
Correct,
child
correct.
is not even interested in engineering, has no aptitude, doesn't want to
Yeah,
do it. Then you push them to do it. And what are quota suicides all about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Correct?
Correct.
I mean, that's just one aspect of it. There are multiple
Yeah.
layers why a child might commit suicide. But
Yeah.
forcing them to do something against their will, when their dreams, when their aptitude is somewhere else, is, I think, criminal of parents. So, but
Yeah.
that's a different issue and a talk. So we help
Yeah.
them do that. And then with undergrad students, we do a SWOT analysis. We tell them what are their enabler and inhibitor traits. What is it that they can use to strategize and go ahead in their career? Things like that. So that is for the
Okay.
students. For corporates, we work with them for recruitment to help them identify the person who will fit the job role that they have open for. So before
Okay.
they are, because everybody comes with very good interview skills, very polished resume. But within a month after
True.
they join, this person is just not good for my organization. What do I do?
Correct.
So we
Yeah.
help do something before, they hire.
So is it a set of tests again?
Yes, it's all in multiple choice question format. It's available in English, Kannada, and Hindi. And it takes about 15-18 minutes for a person to answer, and then they're done. And then we also work with organizations for employee development and growth,
Okay.
high
Okay.
potential identification, career progression, succession planning, a host of other activities.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the way you're doing not just the tests, but especially with the students, where you follow up with how can it be corrected and what can
yeah,
be done about the limitations they have, how can they work around it. I think that's the main thing, right? I mean, just
yeah,
identifying it is one part of it, of course, which is very important. But
correct.
then getting the right course and telling them what next, I think that's really amazing, Dr. Shilpa,
Thank you. In
because
fact, we
that is
identify.
as important.
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, we identify students who are facing undue levels of stress and we flag them to the authorities, the school
Yeah,
principal and the team,
correct.
the administrative staff. And then so many times in so many schools, the school staff, they don't even know that such and such a child is facing stress. you know
Yeah,
and once we flag
yeah,
them, they speak to the child, they speak to the parents, and then the counseling and all that starts, and they're able to help the child overcome, give them resources
correct.
to handle those, because it's a life skill, right, to handle stress.
Yeah,
Everybody is
correct.
under stress.
Absolutely.
We need to know
Yeah,
how to handle it. So they give them those kind of techniques and all that, and that, I think, if we can save one suicide, I think our life is sorted,
yeah. True.
because
Very
hearing
true.
about it in the papers, reading is just horrifying.
Yeah. And also, like you said, when you see a child or a person, you hardly understand what's going within them. Like it's what you
Correct.
see. They show that they're perfectly normal, but then internally, I think that is what these tests bring out, right? Like what
Correct.
is it that they are
Absolutely.
facing internally? And
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, even if one life is saved, then it will
Saved
mean so much.
so much. Yeah. Real. That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that really
So
bothers me, to see that in the papers and to hear about it, that, a child is. I think the other day I read that a 12-year-old child committed suicide because somebody scolded the child. And then kota to 17, 18, 20-year-old children committing suicide. I mean, what have they seen in life to commit suicide?
yeah,
Why commit
correct.
suicide? Any problem in life can be solved.
Correct.
Every problem has a solution. You need to figure out the solution. And that's where our skill, our intelligence as human beings come in. And we need to build that skill in our children, not just leave them to, struggle on their own and commit suicide. That's just
Correct.
terrible.
And I think this is the right step, like identifying that they have an issue will be the
Correct.
right step. Yeah, which
Yeah.
is going
Yeah.
to help us look into the other things.
Correct. Absolutely. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you've received numerous awards and recognition for your innovative work, right? So, how
Yeah.
have these accolades influenced your career and vision?
Oh, it's not influenced my career any much, except that people feel that, oh, she's got so many awards, oh nice, so she must be doing something right or something proper. That's about it. But
Okay.
because of getting the awards, I've not got any work, or maybe I'm looking the wrong direction, I don't know, but I'm not.
But does it at least make a small difference saying that, okay, your work is being
It makes a
acknowledged?
difference to me. It certainly makes a
Yeah.
difference to me. I feel very happy. it makes a difference to my family. They're very proud of me. My kids are very, very proud of me. And in fact, I wanted to tell you, my son, who was so called, labeled as a dyslexic, is now an advocate. He qualified as an advocate. He set up his own law firm, and he's got 4 or 5 people working with him. So he's on his own,
That's
and I'm
so
very, very
amazing.
proud of him. Yeah, yeah, I'm very proud of him.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
deserves.
absolutely. And I
Seriously.
felt, if I can do that to one child, of course I can do that to 100 other children. And that's how I
Yeah,
wanted to work with children also, to make a difference
yeah.
to their lives. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I think awareness is one thing which changes a lot of things in anybody's life, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
if you had not, gone so much deep into figuring out, then I don't
Yeah.
think that this would have been possible, right? Like
No, because
it
I
would
was hell
the
bent that,
his life would
my
have
son is
taken a
not going.
different course.
Correct,
Sorry.
correct,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. I was, hell bent that my child is not going to go to a special needs school. And I
yeah,
said, there is whatever I can do on earth to make sure that he can come out of it, I will do. And I did that. And that shows.
yeah. And I think that has also given you a purpose on doing things, and
Absolutely. Yeah,
spread
yeah.
it to others too, which
Correct.
which
Yeah.
which is again commendable.
Yeah. He was just the starting point to push me on this journey.
Yeah,
If you look at the Indian philosophical way of it, I don't think this is from this. If I can say this knowledge, knowledge is too big a word for what I know.
yeah,
This little bit of learning that I have got in this life is definitely not from this life. I think it's a previous janma. I believe in rebirth. So
yeah.
from a
I
previous
do.
janma, all that karma, something was there, and I was meant to do this, and that's why I did this. So me, Shilpa, as such, I don't think I've done anything much. So it is just that it was a force that made me do it. And then
Yeah,
I was just a nimitta karana, that's all. Just this being was supposed to come here to just do that, propagate that work, and that's it. Once my work is finished, and I'm going to go back wherever I came from. I very strongly believe in that.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do too, actually. And
Yeah.
whatever you said made sense, and I
Yeah,
totally believe what you
because
said.
so many things about the tridoshas, trigunas, it's very intuitive for me. It's not something that I've learned. And like I told you, it used to come in my dreams, and then in the morning I used to sit and work on my Excel sheets, and then it used to work out. Any question, any problem that bothered me, I've solved it through my dreams.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if I say that, some people laugh, some people, crazy lady, what is she talking about, Anta? But that's how it happened. It was very magical at that point of time. And even today, if you ask me something, I just introspect a little, and I never go back and refer to my books or notes or anything. It's very instinctive. And so at that point of time, I don't think, it's about this janma, this whatever I've learned, a little bit I've learned here. I think it's something, those vasanas that have come from a previous birth, that is taking this birth.
yeah. Actually, I think whatever you've mentioned now is also there in this Power of Subconscious Mind, right? The book which talks about how you get those ideas and how, like you said, most of them get it during their sleep. And
Hmm.
of course, the way it is defined there is, there's an infinite power and infinite intelligence which gives you that idea if you let it go. But like you said, there is something, finally, it's the soul, right? Which would have got
Correct.
something and which is evolving even now.
Correct.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
it
Yeah.
all actually comes together when you talk about it from that
Yeah.
point of view.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And we are all evolving, None of us are
Correct.
perfect. This is certainly far away from perfect. But we're all evolving. Every day we
Yeah.
learn, every day we knew something new. So on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, your proprietary online software facilitates self-discovery, right? And
Yeah.
there's something called as personality profiling, I think, if I'm saying it right.
Yeah. It's a
Uh,
self-growth report. Yeah.
yeah. So, how can you little bit explain about how it benefits people and organizations?
Yeah. So, like I mentioned, people, would you let somebody into your house without knowing who they are?
No.
Correct. You either they have to come through a reference, or you should know them, or they're friend
Correct.
of a friend, or a
Correct.
relative has told you about it, or something like that. It's only with a background reference that you bring people into your
Absolutely.
house.
Yeah.
But when you look at organizations, they don't have anything like that. correct? They look at the background of the person, the education, and so on and so forth. But having said that, they don't know who the person is. It's only on
Yeah.
paper. What we do at Swayam is tell you who the person is. How do they think? How do they behave? Are they capable of doing the kind of work you want them to do? Are they the kind of people who will stick on to your organization? All those, we just decode personality. That's our strength. So
Okay.
we tell you who they are before you hire them, before you make a mistake, because any mistake is very costly for an organization
Yeah. Yeah.
in terms of time, money, effort. Everything works out very, very expensive. And plus the salaries that they have to pay every month, you know. So it becomes
Yeah.
very expensive. So we are here to help you save money, save time, save energy by letting you know who the person is. And then you take a call whether you want to hire him, you don't want to hire him or her, you want to hire somebody else. That's the company's call. We are here to give you data based, science and data based choices that you can make, better choices, better decisions that you can make about people. That's all we do. We just decode people. And I think that's a very important step.
Yeah, I mean, to be very frank, I didn't know that you can do it to that level, you know. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
yeah, it's, I think
Because
what,
we assess people on their physiological, psychological, and ethical aspects.
again,
Yeah,
it's those tests, is it, like you said?
yeah. It's through the tests. And then so we have multiple layers of analysis that we do, meta
Okay,
analysis
okay,
that we do. And then through that, we are able to pull out, all the information about the person. So some of the people who have taken the test, some of the students or even some of the adults, when we work with organizations, they've come back and said, this is like a mirror to my mind. I don't know, how did you do that?
wow,
This is so accurate.
yeah.
This the students, when they say this is like a mirror to my mind, ma'am, don't tell my mom about it. It's so
Yeah.
yeah. And we're very confident about an 80% accuracy minimum. But most of our clients come back and tell us this is about 95, 98% accurate. And that really makes me very happy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, of course. From not knowing to 95% is like such a
correct.
big jump and so
Yeah,
useful, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's a complete 360-degree change.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And it helps you take so many decisions very scientifically with data in
Correct.
your hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just
So,
gut feeling.
so is it limited to tests for the corporate? Because I think it's hiring based, it'll only be limited up to the test part of it for them to decide, right? Uh,
Yeah. So what we do is we administer the test on the candidates, and they will of course get a report, the PDF report, which will
okay,
decode their
okay,
personality to them. And then for
okay,
the corporates, what we also do is we do a group analysis. Like they will have 100, 200, 500 people taking the test. So we sit
okay.
down at the back end, and me and the team of psychologists in our organization, we sit down and do a group analysis, and we tell them they would have certain criteria. The person has to be very friendly. They have to be able to manage teams. They have to be very, they should be able to work in teams, and so many such criteria.
Correct,
So we put down
correct.
all their criteria that they want, and then we, sit and we do an analysis of all the 200, 300, 500 people, whatever it is, and then we come out with the list of people who will fit their criteria. May not be 100%, generally never, at least 70, 80%, 90%. And it's also sometimes the absence of certain criteria that they are looking for. So we
Yeah,
give them all that information, send them, put it into documents and send it to them. And then it's their call what they want to do with the information.
yeah. I think all organizations should definitely get in touch with you because it's going to
I
save them a lot of
Yeah, a lot of time and money,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
money,
But
efforts, everything.
correct. But do you know that awareness about how
Yeah,
good psychometric tests can be is so low in India.
yeah.
And that's the difference
I'm
between a Fortune 500 company or any other, company that we work with. It's the people, the companies who are aware, the top leadership who are aware of the power of psychometrics and go for it are able to do really well in the
yeah,
business scenario. And people who don't believe in it, who say that I don't care about it, I am not going to do this, this is too much money, I'm not going to spend this money, all that stuff, no, they're constantly struggling
yeah.
with
It's in
people, with
that
weather.
loop, right? Like you said,
Yeah,
yeah.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one thing that they should take up and see
Correct.
like how
Yeah.
it makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the karma loop that we get into, no, the samsara.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Unless
no,
you
actually,
break that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, even I have worked in different organizations and we have seen this, like you said, it's
Yeah.
a definite loop. Every 2 years we
Yeah.
have change of people who are joining, leaving,
Correct.
and yeah, one of the reasons could be this, like you rightly said, that they're not fit, and in whatever way, there are multiple
Yeah.
things which and we normally look at the resume, the what do you say, the professional skill set. Do
Yeah.
they know this
We
programming
don't
language?
whether they fit your values in the organ, because each company has a different set of
Has it.
values, different
Correct.
set of culture, and
Correct.
what they want to contribute, whether they want to contribute, whether
Absolutely.
those kind of things. So if you get a person who doesn't match those values, they're not going to stick around. Your productivity takes a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So, I mean, we are Wonder Woman Wednesday, so we have one question about, if you faced any challenge as a woman entrepreneur in India, specifically, or even when you talk to people outside at a
Okay.
global
Yeah.
level.
There are two instances I can say,
Okay.
if you don't mind. So one is that I'm not a techie, correct? I'm not a very technologically, I'm not very smart. So I struggle. At least I'm, able to do certain things now as far as the website and, all those things are concerned. I've educated myself. So initially, when I went to this company to develop the software for me, so that chap, he said, I'm not going to take names, of course. That chap, he said, oh, you want to develop, okay, some housewife you want to develop, okay, we'll do it for you. How many people will come? 2 3 people in a month? No,
Oh my
for
God.
that we will develop. Yeah.
Seriously?
And then they did such a shoddy job of it, such a short.
Oh.
And this was in 2009 10.
Oh.
Ah, not in the andakalatale 80s 90s and all that stuff.
I know. I know. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
So that
right.
was their
Actually,
attitude, and they did such a
yeah.
shoddy job of it. So I had to keep on doing, redoing, and I was fed up at one point of time. I wanted to give up. It was so bad. And another incident that comes to my mind is, I was invited to London by the former Prime Minister's wife, Mrs. Sherry Blair, to present my work to her and Bank of America Merrill Lynch, because they found it fascinating that I was combining ancient Indian systems with modern technology, like a software and all that stuff. So I went to London. So, I got the visa and all that because I was being invited by her. There was no problem with the visa. So, no, within a day,
Yeah.
I got it and I landed in London. This was in May. And then I landed over there, and then afterwards, the visa officer, no, when they spoke to me, so she saw my visa. It was a business visa, and I am a nice portly woman going there, no business like attributes whatsoever at all. And then she looked at me and she said, "You're coming from India?" So, yeah, I'm coming from India. I'm very thrilled and I'm very happy. And I'm saying, yeah, that was not my first trip. By the way, I had been to Europe a few times, but with my family. So I said, yeah, I'm coming from India. Okay, you're here on a business trip? Yes, yes, I'm here on a business. You've come alone? Yes, 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 I've come alone. So then there was nobody with me. I was there alone. You sure you're on a business trip? What business do you do? She was so dismissive about me, and that I could not, because me being a woman, that was a woman also. She was, even she was a woman herself, but
Hmm.
she couldn't believe that somebody from India could come to the UK on a business visa for
Business.
business, looking like me as a woman. And I was quite irritated with her.
Yeah.
And those are two examples that I can tell you about, being treated the other way just because I'm a woman.
Yeah. One is I think like you said, because you're a woman. Second is I think people have a perception of how people should look
look
Like,
if you're in corporate.
yeah,
Yeah, I
which,
don't look corporate
yeah.
at all. No inch of me.
No, I don't know why people have that mindset at all, actually, because we
Yeah,
have seen there are so many examples of exemplary women who are not fitting into the actual thing that people
correct.
perceive
So the
about,
minute
right?
you wear a sari, at least now in the last 3 4 years, 5 years maybe, I see that change. You walk
Yeah,
in a sari, people are not worried. They give you that due respect or whatever. They treat you as a
correct.
professional and things like that. But before that, you went in a sari, you were treated like a dehati, like, that you
Yeah,
had no, sense of dressing. And people abroad can't believe that we can speak English so well. And I
yeah,
find it
correct.
quite humiliating because, so many times when I go abroad, people tell me that, oh, you speak very good English for a European, for an Indian. So I tell them,
Indian,
yeah,
yeah.
even you speak very good English for a European. I say, and they don't know how to respond. I say that and I walk out of.
Yeah, I know. I think you'll have better answers definitely because of your base of psychology, at least. You can
Yeah. No, I give it back to people now. I just don't bother. If anybody tries to, just because I'm an Indian and a woman, I can't do something means they've had it. I'm quite
yeah.
irritated at that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is the mindset we should all go with, which is
Yeah, I know.
important for any woman. Yeah.
Correct, correct.
So, how do you see the future of personality assessment and psychology evolving in the coming years in terms of, will people still stick to what they've been doing, or do you see a shift and do you think in the future it'll be different?
Oh, definitely. I think already there is a shift now, especially like I mentioned with the amount of AB 2020, which has come into play, which puts a lot of focus on Indian thoughts, Indian culture, tradition, and all
Yeah,
that. That is
yeah,
one, major plus point that I should say for Indian knowledge systems. Second is that there's a huge shift already happening. There is a big field called Indian psychology now. Indian psychology means it's not restricted to an Indian population, but it's just that geographically it's from India. It's come to us
mm,
from the Indian philosophical tradition because there's a
correct.
wealth of information. If you look at Buddhism, which has come into so much of focus today because of the kind of knowledge that they have, and they're trying to help people with that, with anger management, with so many things over there. And then you have the Hindu philosophies, you have Vedanta, you have Gita philosophy, which has come into management in a very, very big way. So there's an
Correct.
entire
Yeah.
thought of Gita philosophy of management that has taken, its own steam and it's running forward. And there are plenty of other things that are happening. And today there are universities that are starting based on Indian knowledge systems. So I think this is a very big field. It's going to
Yeah.
become very big in the short future. It's transitioning now. There is a lot of people who are very unhappy with the Western models of psychology, and they're all moving towards Indian thoughts. They're trying to discover. It needs more, awareness amongst the people. Like I'm very happy that you're, helping us to propagate that awareness.
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
more people like you, with more, online sessions that we can take, news about it and so on and so forth, I think there's going to be a lot of awareness. Undergraduate courses have not yet started, but postgraduate courses like MA and MSc in psychology have already started offering a paper on psychology, Indian psychology. Personality psychology has not yet become that big, but I'm very hopeful that it will very shortly, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years. I'm sure that it's going to be an entire school of thought by itself, and
Yeah.
it's going to take over the world.
Yes. Yeah, I think we need, things like these
Yes,
to make a difference. It's not just about, like you said, you have a focus of students and corporates, but then it applies to every individual. I mean, if
every
we are able to
individual.
evaluate ourselves
Yeah,
on what is it that we want, because there are a lot of times where we are just doing things on a, what do you say, automated mode. Like,
autopilot.
yeah,
Correct, correct.
but if
Yeah.
there are means to figure out like what is it that I am inclined towards and what is it that I can take up, I think it absolutely makes sense, and these are the things that I think we need in the future.
Yes,
Absolutely need.
very true. Yeah, very true. Very true. Because
Yeah,
if you see, Ayurveda and yoga have taken over the world.
yeah, yeah,
Everybody is doing yoga, everybody is following Ayurveda, and it's a
yeah,
massive industry now. So, in the
yeah,
same way, I'm very confident and very hopeful that Indian psychology, personality based on Indian knowledge systems, will one day take over the world, and very shortly. What took Ayurveda maybe 50 years or 20 years will take just another 4 or 5 years for personality psychology to take over the world. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Fingers crossed. Both fingers crossed.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, Dr. Shilpa, it's been amazing, that you've explained to so much detail about what you do, how it helps, how can students and corporates benefit from the kind of tests that you're doing. So now we'll ask you some questions. Let's just go over some questions which are like, a little bit short things, which maybe you can give us a quick reference, which people can relate to or figure out about the work that you do.
Sure.
So, these are, a little bit moments from your journey that I would like to ask about. So, if you can
Sure.
tell a memorable aha moment in your career.
Huh. So that is when I discovered, that I can understand people based on the Panchamahabhuta theory. So I live close by to Sankey Tank. And
Okay.
I used to go there for my walks in the morning. So I was walking around the tank, and then suddenly I realized that the five elements are something that's common across the world. You know?
Is it at that moment?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. So that's when I realized, and then it just hit me, and then I had to sit down for a few moments, and then think there was that stone benches and all that were laid over there. I sat down and I said, "Oh wow, this is something that I should really work on," and that's where my journey started.
Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah.
I think that aha moment has definitely given a lot of things to,
Yeah.
people and yeah,
Yeah,
the way
and
of
this was
tests
early
and
in the morning, and it was next to that water body and all the beautiful place. Sanketang
yeah,
is
I know
beautiful.
psychotech. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was walking around over there, and then I realized, oh God, this is something that can really be, applicable to people across the world. And that's where my journey started.
Amazing, amazing. So, if you could collaborate with any renowned psychologist, who would it be and why?
So, okay, I love Sri Krishna,
Okay.
God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
read the Bhagavad Gita
Makes
every
sense
day.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then I think collaborating with him would be like, amazing, because
Awesome.
because Gita is considered to be the first psychological text in the world,
Yeah.
textbook of psychology. I mean.
Correct.
So I think that would be fantastic. But then of people who are, common people like us who have been born and all that, I think one was Professor Ramkrishna Rao, and then Professor Kiran Kumar, whom I've also worked under. So many people are there. Then there is Dr. Sitama. She had done work on the gunas much earlier to me, and I did a lot of work, based on her work, based on her tests, use that to understand a lot of things. So there are so many women and men in India, in Indian psychology especially, who have done amazing work, and I think it would be great to collaborate with them.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
Now, if you could create a new psychometric test, what aspect of human behavior or personality would it measure?
idiocy,
Which one?
being an idiot, because that I think so many people are, I don't know. I don't know why, because it bugs me. Some common sense only they don't have,
Yeah.
you know. So I think maybe gradations of that or something like that. I mean, this is just a fanciful way, of course, but I
Okay.
think but anger is one thing that I want to study,
Okay.
because all of
Yeah.
us are susceptible to it, and why we get angry, what makes us
Correct.
angry, how we can, overcome that is one thing that I would really want to study.
Yeah. Is there any psychological concept or theory that you believe everyone should know about or learn about?
I think everybody should know about themselves, who they are, and why they are here. Because we're
Correct.
all here for a reason. None of us are here without any reason. So, for you to find out that reason, you need to know who you are as a person. What do I like? What do I don't like? Why am I born here? What is it that I can do to, help other people improve their life? If we can answer those questions, then I think the reason why we are born becomes very clear. and then you can go in that direction.
Does the test help us with those kind of answers too?
Yes, it does.
It
Not why you
does?
are born here, not why you are born here, but what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses,
Yeah,
what
that will
is
give
it
you
you
an
like.
idea.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. Because all of us are very unique from each other. And we have unique strengths, we have unique weaknesses. How can I strategize my strengths to do something in life? So those are things that if we can learn, then we can showcase our uniqueness across the world.
So these tests that you do, can anybody as an individual also take up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can come into our website, you can make the payment, and then you can take the test
Online itself.
online. Everything is completely online.
And then we get the report. Is it like that?
Yeah, immediately you'll get the report.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, immediately also.
Yeah, within a minute or so. Immediately means it'll
Okay.
take that much time for the number crunching and
Yeah.
all that to happen. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. So, what's your most rewarding aspect of helping students and individual discover the unique personalities through these tests?
They become very aware of who they are and what they should do as a career. And that is very satisfying for me when they
Yeah.
get that aha moment. Yeah, this is my strength. Yeah, this is what I always dream of. Yeah, this is what I want to do. You know, that really, I love that.
Yeah. I'm sure you would have seen a lot of people go
Yeah,
through that after taking the test, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next biggest problem is to convince the parents.
Yeah.
It's never the student.
You should make the parents also take the test.
They're not interested. So, but when they see the child's report, they're almost, generally the mothers are very convinced. It's the
Yeah.
fathers who say, no, I want my son to be an engineer. No, no, I want this only. No, no, no. What does he know? I know what he has to do. That becomes a problem.
Does that
It
happen
becomes an
even
ego.
now
Yeah.
in today's world also? Like, at least
Absolutely.
I've seen a bit of shift from what it
There is a
was
shift.
previously.
No, no, there is a shift. When I speak to the parents, when I tell them that no, let your child do certain things, even if it's a mistake, you see if it is a mistake. I don't think it's a mistake, but if you feel it's a mistake, let them do the mistake. In front of us, if our child makes a mistake, it's okay.
Correct.
Even if they lose a year, it's not such a big deal,
Correct.
you know. So I try to tell them that many parents accept, after one or two sittings, they are more open to it once they realize how accurate the report is. And then without even seeing the child, we would have done the analysis and given it to them. The
Correct.
interpretations are very accurate. Then they are ready to, very open to, not very, but open to it. And then when the child, they speak to the child, they go home, talk to the child, and then the parents, the mother and the father say, sit down, discuss things and all that. So it generally takes about a month for the parents to come around. Most parents do, but there are some parents who don't come around. They're very
Mhm.
stuck. It's more an ego issue rather than being about the child. So then you can't argue with ego.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Dr. Shilpa, this has really been very, very insightful. And we've had a lot of discussions about psychometric tests, children, and what are the things that you offer and how can it help people. So I think it's really been insightful in terms of, if you ask common people like me, we know that there are tests which can evaluate and all that. But this in-depth knowledge of what it actually does and how your life can change based on this just one step of getting yourself evaluated and seeing what you actually can do next. I think it's really been a great learning, especially for me, and of course I'm sure our viewers too would agree.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. uh,
You're most
and
welcome. Thank you very much for having me here, Sneha. I've
thank you.
enjoyed
We'll
having this
have
conversation with you.
yeah, yeah, but I'm not letting you go so soon.
Oh, sure, sure.
We'll we'll have a short rapid fire.
Sure.
I'm not going to evaluate because I'm not even I'm
Don't
not
worry,
even
you
certified for
can. Go
that.
ahead.
But
Yeah.
it's only for my fun.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sure, sure.
So some are based, of course, on your what you do. So
Sure.
personality or behavior. If
Personality.
you,
That
okay.
defines behavior. Yeah.
Okay. Ancient wisdom or modern technology? I think I have a clue, but
A
let me just ask
combination
this
of the
question.
two.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, yeah, a combination of the two any day.
Yeah, I know, and I agree completely because you use the ancient wisdom and create modern technology, which will help you with what you are today. I
Correct.
absolutely believe in that, and I think
Yeah.
it's very unfair to pick one.
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah. Because I've benefited from both. So definitely both.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Individual counseling or group workshop?
Um, Group workshop because simply because it saves us time, and definitely individual counseling has its place for more for people or students who need it more. But generally, I found the group workshop works very well.
Okay. Ayurvedic insights or contemporary psychology?
Ayurvedic insights.
Researcher or educator?
Researcher.
I think that you have that within you.
Yeah, yeah. I love research. Just love it.
So now, completely off your professional thing. So, comedy or thriller movies when you need a good laugh.
Thrillers. Completely. I love thrillers.
Okay. No, my
Yeah.
question was when you need a good laugh.
Oh, need a good laugh. I'm not so much into humor and all that stuff. I do
Okay.
watch a
Like,
little bit now on that Instagram and something like that, when all these stand-up comedians post. But that's about it. I don't like comedy movies at
comedy.
all. I don't watch.
Okay. You are more towards the thriller.
Yeah, yeah. Any day. James Bond and I'm running.
Do you make some analysis when you watch a movie too? I'm just
No, no, no,
asking.
no, no. I leave my brain
You
out
leave
and go.
that,
Then,
right?
no, no, you can't watch with your brains intact. That Mission
Yeah, yeah.
Impossible or,
Correct.
all these things. No, Star Wars. I love Star Wars also.
Agree.
Huge Star Wars fan. So, all that you can't watch with your brains intact. So, I just leave them outside and then go and have a good fun and come.
Yeah. And I think there are some things which you just need to, like you said, leave your brains behind and,
Yeah,
just watch
yeah,
and
yeah,
enjoy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if you could swap lives with anyone for a day, is there someone who you would like to swap lives with?
Maybe with, somebody who goes to outer space, because that's
Ah,
been a fascination from the time I've been a little child. I've
okay.
always wanted to go to be an astronomer and go up into outer space. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah. If I can, yes.
Okay.
For a day, yes, definitely.
Okay, nice. Ice cream or chocolate? Your ultimate comfort food.
Ultimate comfort food is neither.
That's what I was about.
Yeah,
Like there are people, who take a bowl of ice cream and use it as their comfort food. I think for us, it's
yeah,
more like khichdi and
yeah. Something like that. Maybe dal and khichdi, or even peanuts for that matter. I love peanuts, or any
okay.
nuts. Almonds and all that, but not chocolate or not
You
even
do you
ice.
eat ice cream chocolates? Do you like or
I don't eat ice cream because I don't like that cold flavor in my cold thing in my mouth. I like
okay?
chocolates, yeah, but I prefer pastries rather than pure chocolates like that. But that also I've cut down. I don't like that too much sweet; it hits you in the face, so I don't like it. I like
Yeah,
salt and spicy tastes more.
okay, yeah. I think that's the end of the rapid fire.
Okay,
So before we wrap up, I'm sure this one will be a good one because, based on your experience, I'm sure you'll have an awesome message to our viewers. So if there is one thing based on your experience, with so much of things that you've seen and you've dealt with, what is that one message to our viewers you would like to give?
please dream because it's
Okay.
your dreams that makes the world go around. We
Wow.
dreamt of going to the moon, we are on the moon. We dream of going towards the sun, we are going towards the sun. It's those dreams that make living worth living. So don't stop dreaming, just dream. One day it will become a reality.
Yeah,
That's
makes
something
sense.
really important.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm sure, people will be there are people who actually dream and do things, but it's like a lot of people think, "Arey, ye to ek, it's just a dream," and
Yeah.
maybe we
No,
shouldn't.
but your dreams come true, no?
Correct. Yeah.
So many dreams come true because if you want it with that intensity,
Yeah.
it just happens. It comes true.
Correct. I
They say,
agree.
the consciousness, the universe gives you what you want, what you ask for.
Correct.
Be careful
Yeah.
what you ask for because you might just get it. And
Correct.
I very firmly believe in
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Okay. So, uh, the final question. Where can our viewers reach you? Because I'm sure, a lot of people would definitely be interested in getting in touch with you to figure out like what are the things that they can do to, take these tests and figure out, and or even the corporates who can get in touch with you.
LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. And on our own website, we have a, contact us form. So you can fill that up and within 24 hours, we'll reach out.
Okay, so we'll leave the link to your LinkedIn and your website in the
Sure,
description for viewers to
sure.
reach out.
Or even an email. I respond to every email that I get.
Okay, we'll leave all the three details
Yeah,
so people can reach out to you.
sure, sure.
So
Oh,
thank you, Dr. Shilpa. I think it's been amazing. And this is my dialogue with every podcast that, the
I know.
learnings I have and the takeaways. It actually, with every podcast, I feel I'm growing a bit. I am learning a bit more. And
Correct.
it makes me very happy. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you very much, Sneha, for taking the time and doing this for us. It's been amazing talking to you, and I've really enjoyed it. I didn't even feel like it was the podcast. I'm on air. I need to be that this, and you made me feel so comfortable. So I was happily laughing away and enjoying myself. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shilpa.